All right, we're going to try this again. Um, so I'm trying this on a different machine. So I want to make sure that we get the best possible product out there. I think we're going to pause on streaming until we can get a more consistent internet connection. Seems like that's the main obstacle. Um, but um, I was saying that one of the skills you need to develop as a young man is the ability to do more with less. So we're in a time now where we have a lot of economic challenges. I don't think it's anything to be embarrassed about. Uh, I think the culture has trained our women to be extremely materialistic. Um, I think some of that comes from the hypersexuality in the culture, which comes from slavery. And then once women move out of their years of fertility, Rollo Tomasi likes to talk about kind of a come to Jesus moment around the age of 27 to 28 after the whole phase is complete, which is usually when women stop being fun to hang out with. Usually then they start thinking about, children and family and stuff like that. So what's most important in life, they kind of give their leftover effort. And so you got to be very, very on guard about that. Um, so you have to do more with less. So that applies in your your craft as well. So as grateful as I am for the prototypes that I have with the I think I'm going to call it the Olympus series: Olympus Goldsmith, Olympus Presidential, and Aquinas kind of stands on its own. It's kind of my elite piece, and I don't feel worthy of putting those on quite yet. Fred, don't worry, we'll get there. But uh, in the meantime, I'm going to put in the work necessary to get to that point. But metaphorically, I think it's important to realize that we're not always going to have the premier level of equipment or support or um, financial backing that we're looking for. So, uh, Jay Z once had an interview where he was talking about why rappers wear jewelry and grab their genitals on stage. He was talking about feeling naked. Because I don't know if many of you remember, but Bobby Shmurda once had to perform a song in front of a room full of record label executives, and it was hard for me to watch more than 5 seconds because it seemed like a minstrel show in action. And as much as I appreciate a good hat toss as much as anyone else, those types of things are very hard for me to watch. And it gives me the same feeling as when I watch Django and see the young gentleman D'Artagnan being ripped apart by dogs. That's how it feels sometimes. You can women can make you feel that way. Your family can make you feel that way. Your coworkers or your colleagues can make you feel that way. Your supervisors certainly, overseers as well. But you have to be strong. You have to be tough. And when I thought about the concept of what Hero by Texas movement needs to represent, it has to have an element of that steel. Um, Charlie Munger is a great admirer of Lee Kuan Yew, the first leader of Singapore, and he talks frequently about having that iron in your spine. And so that's something I aspire towards, not to lead anybody else in particular, but to lead myself. Because I've had other people say that they are qualified to lead me. And I'm like, great, do it, wonderful. But then I ask them a question about the direction that we're going. And whenever I ask them a genuine question about the real direction that we are going, there's always a void there. There's no clear answer. There's no clarity. And as Robert De Niro said in Casino, that either makes you complicit with the theft or too incompetent to see that it is happening. In either case, you can no longer work at my establishment. So since Texas Movement has kind of a higher purpose attached to it, I can only delegate certain responsibilities to people that I really have have faith in, and I've been very disappointed for the majority of my life. And I don't think oppressors are used to hearing that language spoken very directly. And so, children, what I'd like you to develop is the steel in your spine to tell your oppressors that they are incompetent. Um, you don't do this by showing off your genitals to them. Just as you force a woman who has a high income standard and who has a high demand for partnership, you force that woman into responsibility to make her put her money where her mouth is, you will find that she will quickly go by the wayside, or she will quickly disappear once effort is required to get the baby that she's looking for. All you have to do is go a little bit deeper. Once you go past the makeup and the foundation and the lashes and the wigs, you will find that there's a very empty husk of a person inside. And, you know, the grip on um, her her features is not going to last because she shared it with quite a few people. So if you're not going to give me exclusivity, and if you insult me with your leftovers, and on top of that you have great demands of equity without any contribution, you stir and evoke the same emotions in me that I experienced as a child. And that makes me flaccid immediately. And I think a lot of you married men are going through this now. And so, just as older women bully and destroy younger women who they're jealous of, you older men who made simp based decisions in your emotion when your conscience told you what the right decision was and you chose to ignore it because of fear, it's the same situation. And preaching is not going to save you. At some point, faith without works is dead. And it's sad that you have neither faith nor works. All you have is your empty words of preaching. As we go back in time into the 90s, 80s, and 70s, there's far more leeway I give to the older generation as far as what action actually is. You think about James Baldwin, what choices he had in American society as a literary intellectual. You can even watch his interviews with both white and black counterparts, and you see how frustrated he gets. And he tries to remain calm because he understands he is a representative of the intellect of an entire race, an entire generation, an entire cohort of similarly placed individuals burdened by reality, oppressed by an absolutely evil force that maintains its goodness. I didn't. He may have said this, but it's almost he said something like, "Or forgive me, you gotta black people give me a break, okay? To be black and conscious is to be in a rage all the time. Somebody said it. Somebody black. And so we tried our best to adopt best practices. But we cannot adopt violence. We cannot adopt illiteracy. We cannot adopt homosexuality. These are not adequate covers for our nakedness. We have to find other means of survival. Because the nuclear family has value. A relationship with the Creator has value. None of us like suppression. None of us believes seasonless food or unrhythmic singing and dancing is spiritual. But we cannot learn how to make chitterlings or learn the perfect way to clean greens just to keep hopping and dancing for your approval. What makes you any better than them if that's the case? If there's always one more thing to do to learn how to be a better slave? Why is that necessary? What great contribution are you making to our lives that requires us to put in that monumental effort? Why must we learn every nuance of African American vernacular English? Why must I learn New York and Florida and Georgia and Texas and California hip-hop lingo? For what? So you can infect our community as well with your Tuskegee experiments? My mother raised me to speak up for other people's trauma and pain. There are people that were raised in the appropriate moral compass. My father taught you to read for 30 years. What do you do the minute you get into the Divine Nine? You try to turn someone else into a homosexual, step by step by step by step. Just because some Jew told you to. Sending demon after demon after demon. Now you want to be friendly. Who are you? What makes you so great? It was crack in the 80s. It's clout today. I was in Dallas long enough. None of you are real. Especially you celebrities. And I want my boys to know that. It was hard finding a real woman 15 years ago. Now I would recommend celibacy to any young boy. One thing I should tell you, boys, is that God, our Creator, He made the sensations of testosterone and estrogen working together. He made sex feel good. He made compliments from women feel good. If He can make that here in the temporal world, how much more of a good thing can we expect there? Don't make the temporary approval of a hair hat wearing animal with silicone injections your gold medal. And I say that with an abundant amount of love in my heart, and you idiots know it. I have no problem using other language to speak directly to you. But my boys will show you another way. We can starve with dignity. I see the caricatures of how Jews portray my people. The minute I saw it, I ran in the opposite direction. No matter how much trauma came my way. And rest assured, the trauma came my way precisely because I ran in the opposite direction. And I have no regrets. All your movies now, who are they about? You don't have a single original idea. You will not drag us down into your filth. I've already been to your hell. You will not take any more of us with you. You monkeys have a good night.